Before we start, a quick disclaimer. Everything demonstrated in this video is strictly for educational purposes, to show you how to protect yourself. All demonstrations are performed in a controlled lab environment on our own testing devices. We never target real users, and using this knowledge to gain unauthorized access to actual people or systems is strictly illegal and unethical.
In this video, I'll demonstrate the open source penetration testing framework, Social Engineering Toolkit, or SET. SET is a tool to help construct social engineering attacks and create payloads typically deployed using social engineering. Now, before we start the SET toolkit or SE toolkit, it's a good idea to get the IP address of the local machine, which we'll be using to create our attack from. So to do that, we can type IPADDR or ifconfig and get the IP address. In this case, 192.168.2.63. So I'll have to remember that for when we're using SE toolkit. So I'll run SE toolkit, but to do so, we need to run it as root. So I'll change this to sudo SE toolkit, and now we're in. So we're at a command prompt inside of SET. So we have SET with the greater than arrow, and then we can type in our commands, which we select from the menu. So it's a non-graphical command line interface that we step through menus. So we have from the main menu, the social engineering attacks, penetration testing, third-party modules, update the social engineer toolkit, update SET configuration, and the last option, help, credits, and about. So I'm going to select number 1, social engineering attacks, and we'll go in and see what's there. So here, there are items to help us with spear phishing, number 1. The second is website attack vectors. The third, infectious media generator. 4, create a payload and listener. 5 is a mass mailer attack. 6, Arduino-based attack vector. 7, wireless access point attack vector. 8, a QR code generator. 9, PowerShell attacks. And 10, third-party modules. Now, I'm not going to go through every section and every module, but the main ones, the first 2, the social engineering attacks and the penetration testing. So I'll go into number 2. And here are some custom ones using the fast track penetration testing platform. So these help with attacking or pen testing. Number 1, Microsoft SQL. It's a SQL brute forcer or brooter. Number 2 is the custom exploits. 3 is SCCM attack vector. Number 4, Dell DRAC chassis default checker. Number 5 is user enumeration attack. And 6 is psexec PowerShell injection. So there are quite a comprehensive list of options that we can use this SET toolkit for. So I'm going to go into number 1, the social engineering attacks. And I'm going to select number 4, create a payload and listener for this example. So a payload and listener has 2 parts. There's one, the listener, which we need to run as a service or a server that accepts the callbacks from the victim's machine. So we're going to use this current machine, and this is why I got the IP address at the beginning, because we're going to create an executable to be distributed, a payload, the separate part, distributed via social engineering typically, and put on the victim's computer. And if they run it, then it calls back to the server, and it gives us access to it. So in this case, I'm going to select number 2, Windows Reverse TCP Meterpreter. So this will give us a shell back to the victim's machine when they run the executable. So I'll type number 2, and it's going to ask for the IP address for the payload listener. So I'll type in 192.168.2.63 as I determined before I ran the SE toolkit. We can pick a port. I'm just going to pick something high and random, 8181. And it's going to create a payload that has this IP address and port embedded in it to connect back to it. Takes a moment to create the payload, to generate it, and then it export to the default set directory located under /root/.set/payload. So this .set folder, usually in the current user's directory, since we're running this as root, it puts it in the root folder, and it creates something called payload.exe. Now, usually this payload, this executable, gets renamed to something else so that it's the user, the victim, is unsuspecting of it being malicious. So if they download it via email or from a link, it'll be called something, let's say, update computer firmware or some super important program that looks official, and they'll run the executable and be compromised. So it's asking me, do you want to start the payload and listener now? I'm going to select yes, and I'm going to run it. And so it's starting the console. While it's doing this thing, I'm going to go and copy that payload. So if I go to another terminal window, I can type sudo cp/root.set/payload.exe, and I'll put that in the current folder. And then if I look at it, if I find the payload, it's still as root. So I'm going to change the privileges. I'll do a sudo chown to change the owner to Kali: of payload.exe. And now I can switch over to my other machine, copy the file to my Windows machine, and run it. So as soon as I copied the file, I've copied it here into my downloads, payload, Microsoft Defender Antivirus found threats, get details. So it actually found this file, this payload.exe, and it immediately removed it. So I've copied it again. It'll get flagged, but I'm going to try and run it before Windows Defender can remove it. So it tells me that I probably don't want to run it. It pops up this, I hit run, and it tells me it cannot find it. So it actually deletes it quicker than I can run it. If you're carrying out pen testing, this is a good test to test that your Windows Defender is configured correctly. Obviously, all these signatures from well-known penetration testing programs will be in Defender, and it's going to find it right away. If it doesn't find it, if it does connect back, then obviously there's a misconfiguration. Defender's not correctly configured, or for some reason it's been disabled. And then you have a vulnerability. So for a pen tester, this is very good information either way. It's either gets deleted by Defender as it did here, and things check out, or we're able to run it. And if we go back to Kali Linux, it shows up here, and I'm able to run commands on the remote machine. However, in this case, our target machine was protected, so we don't get a connection back, and we cannot run remote commands. And most of the time, that's to be expected. So just to reiterate, this payload is not going to work if Microsoft Defender is configured correctly and it's running. And that concludes this demonstration of performing a penetration test using the SE Toolkit, or SET.